An initiative to impose a 2% business tax had its first hearing before Nevada lawmakers. The Assembly and State Taxation Committees held a joint hearing on Tuesday on the education initiative backed by the State Teachers Union and other support groups. Supporters claim it would raise $800 million a year for K through 12th grade education. They collected more than double the number of signatures needed to keep the initiative alive. If lawmakers don't pass it by March 15th, it will automatically go to voters on the November of 2014 ballot. Passes by the legislature is unlikely. The tax would be assessed against businesses making more than $1 million a year. Critics argue that the initiative doesn't guarantee more money for education. Nevada officials say they no longer are recognizing concealed weapon permits from Arizona after the state relaxed some of its training requirements. The decision takes effect this week after a unanimous vote last Thursday from the Nevada Sheriff's and Chiefs Association. Association officials say Las Vegas firearm instructors first notified them about the changes in the training requirements. Nevada Department of Public Safety officials say they contacted the Arizona Department of Public Safety and confirmed changes were made in the 2010-2011. Those include adjustments to the minimum training requirements and the elimination of statutory marksmanship and judgmental shooting requirements. Association officials say the requirements are now too different from Nevada's for the state to recognize the permits. Nevada would revert to a presidential primary instead of a caucus system under the bill introduced in the state Senate. The main goal of SB 212 is to allow military personnel serving overseas an opportunity to participate in the presidential nominating process. Under the bill, the primary election would be held in late January every 4 years when the presidency is at stake. Nominating elections for state and local races would be held at the same time. That would push candidate filing season for legislative and other state races from March to the preceding October. The provision in the bill would authorize moving the primary to early January if necessary to ensure Nevada is the first in the West to cast a presidential preference. Lawmakers are considering a measure to include transgender persons in the list of protected identities in Nevada's hate crime statute. The measure, SB 139, went to the Senate Judiciary Committee on Monday. The crowd spilled into the overflow room and down the hall and featured no opponents to the bill. The bill adds gender identity or expression to the list of race, color, religion, national origin, physical or mental disability, and sexual orientation. If jurors find a crime was motivated by one of these qualifiers, the offender faces an additional charge carrying the possibility of 20 years in prison. The severity of penalties for attacks on transgender persons, they hope, will curb some of the often most gruesome violence against people of that identity. Is another foreclosure tsunami about to sweep through southern Nevada? It looks like the region might be in for round two. But this time there may be some opportunities. Real estate experts say there are recent signs that buyers and sellers need to be aware of. Notices of defaults have tripled in the first 2 months of the year compared with last year, while 2012 was a slow year for foreclosures because of the state law requiring banks to prove they had the right to foreclose. The increase could alter market dynamics. More defaults and foreclosures could help with the shortage of inventory, but the increase in the rate of defaults combined with the possible end to the Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act at the end of the year has local professionals saying 2013 is the year to act. While short sales and foreclosure sales have dominated the market in recent years, the Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtors reports more homes are being sold now through traditional sales. These sales accounted for more than half of all local home sales in January. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. That's your news across Nevada.